Hello friends, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Elise, and this is my mystical spooky bookshelf. And today I have another cozy fantasy series review, and this is a graphic novel series that has been on my radar for a very long time. It came out in 2017 to be specific, and I hadn't got a chance to read it yet, but I went to Books A Million a little while ago because I had birthday money, and I was so stoked to see they had all of them in stock. So without further ado, The Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill. So these are all three of the books in the series. There is The Tea Dragon Society, there is The Tea Dragon Festival, and then there is the final one, The Tea Dragon Tapestry. And this book series is so good. I pretty much read it in like one day. I read all of it in one day practically because they're really small. They're pretty small books. I had been looking for them forever, it feels like. And I had tried to find them at McKay's, but I could not find them to save my life. And I think it's just because they're so popular. And I feel like people just really like this book series and don't want to get rid of it necessarily, which I can totally understand. And I think I was looking in the wrong section because I was looking it up on the Books A Million website because I couldn't find it there at first either. And I was like, it says it's in stock, where is it? And it says it's a kid's book. And I was looking in the non-kids book section, so yeah. But yeah, this is a kid's graphic novel, and it came out in 2017, like I said, and it's basically about a little girl right here. Her name is Greta. Her name is Greta, and she is the daughter of this blacksmith woman right here, and Greta is learning to become a blacksmith. So it's kind of cool how it starts out because it kind of shows Greta's mom working with her, and it shows how to make a sword and stuff. And I just really like all the imagery and the artwork in this book. It's very beautiful. It's got a good story and a good message too, because it's all about traditions, and Greta wanting to become a blacksmith is very good for tradition, because I feel like she brought up there's not a lot of people who have the patience to be a blacksmith anymore, and Greta's mom is very proud of her that she wants to be a blacksmith, and she's very happy that someone can carry on the tradition of being a blacksmith. And she is teaching Greta everything that she knows so that she can get an apprenticeship. And it's really interesting to see Greta go on this journey, and she also has this little pet that's with her. It is her little blacksmith buddy. I think the character's name is Brick. It's like a little cat coal looking thing. It looks like a cat that's made of a block of coal. So it's very cute. And Greta, it's just going through Greta's day-to-day life. And then Greta stumbles upon a tea dragon at one point in the story. And she doesn't really know what tea dragons are, but she picks it up and takes it home and nurses it back to health, basically. And her parents know this tea dragon's owner, and the owner is this little, he looks kind of like a goat, sort of. His name is Hexiel. He is right here in this panel. That's Hexiel. He is the tea dragon's owner. And the tea dragon, her name is Jasmine. And he's really happy that Greta came back with Jasmine because he thought he had lost her, and he was really upset about it. And the whole thing with tea dragons, these books revolve around a lot of tradition and a lot of things that require patience and subtle skills and learning. And it's really important with the tea dragons that their tradition is carried on constantly in life, and it's a lot of work caring for a tea dragon. And Hexiel and Greta, he gives Greta the history on tea dragons, and he asks her if she wants to take care of her own tea dragon, and she's very hesitant about it at first. And she also meets, while she's with them, after he explains the tea dragon thing to her, like the tradition and stuff, she meets this other girl whose name is Minette, I think is her full name, but she goes by Min, and she's really cute. I love her character. She's an adorable little cherub looking girl. She has horns. I'm not really sure what kind of creature she is. She almost looks like a minotaur, because I think she has hoof legs. But she's really cute. And this book is very good because it goes through like different seasons. So I think when we first start, I think it's in spring. So it shows you spring, and then chapter 2 is in summer. And after a full season has passed, Greta is learning more and more about blacksmithing and learning more and more about the tradition, and she's getting better. She's being very patient. She's learning. And she's trying to go for an apprenticeship. I think she sent a letter to someone about an apprenticeship. And then she also goes back to Hexiel because it's been a full season and she still hasn't decided whether she wants a tea dragon or not. So she goes to see him again, and then she takes on her own tea dragon, and she meets other people who also have tea dragons. And in this summer chapter, she meets Hexiel's partner. That's his partner. His name is what's his name? Eric. She meets Eric, and she meets his tea dragon. And there's all different types of tea dragons in this book, and that's what I really like the most about this book, is that there are different tea dragons, and the back of it explains tea dragons, and it explains exactly what they are, and their history, and their lore. So basically, tea dragons are little dragons that make tea leaves with their horns, and depending on the name of the dragon, that's the kind of tea they produce. And it is super cute. And I really want a tea dragon, actually. And they're really hard to take care of, and you have to be on them constantly. And it just goes through all of the little things about tea dragons, and then it shows you the different types of tea dragons. So the one that Hexiel has is Jasmine. The one that Minette has is Chamomile. I like the Chamomile dragon the best. And it's funny because chamomile tea is actually my favorite tea, so if I did have a tea dragon, I would have a chamomile dragon. And then the type of dragon that Greta has is a ginseng dragon, so like ginseng tea. And then the type of dragon that Eric has is a Rubios dragon, so it's like a little red fire-looking dragon. There's also dragons that are not pictured specifically in this series, but the author goes into detail about them. So there's this Earl Grey dragon who has an affinity for Earl Grey tea. There's the ginger tea dragon that produces ginger tea. There's also a hibiscus tea dragon, and then there's a peppermint tea dragon. And it goes through all of their character traits, and it's just a really good book. I loved it so much. I love this series. So this series is basically, the opening is Minette and Greta are getting to know each other, and they become best friends. And Greta, I think, decides in the end to get her own tea dragon, and she gets one inherited from someone who had passed away. And the tea dragon is, like I think I pointed out, she has a ginseng tea dragon. And the third book kind of goes through the tea dragon, the Greta's tea dragon. It goes in more detail in the third book. Because in the second book kind of follows two different characters. It follows I think her name's Rue. I think it starts with an R. Rin. Her name is, okay, so this is better because it has the characters right in the front. So this second book is kind of a sequel, it's kind of a prequel. I think it's more of a prequel than a sequel. The third book is actually the sequel. So the second book follows Rin, who is she is an aspiring cook, and they know all the best places in the forest to get wild herbs and vegetables. And then there's Aiden, who is a dragon, a personified dragon. He's different than a tea dragon. He's like an actual ancestor of a dragon. And then it kind of goes into Hexiel and Eric's backstory and how they met and how they became partners and stuff. So this second book is more of a, like I said, it's a prequel and explains Rin and explains their story. I'm sorry, I mispronounced them. I forgot that Rin doesn't go by she, her. She goes by they, them. And so Rin, this follows their story and how they become friends with Aiden, and I think eventually they form a relationship with Aiden, and they help Aiden realize, because Aiden falls asleep for like 80 years because he was supposed to be guarding this town, but he got put to sleep by a creature and he didn't wake up for like 80 plus years. And I think it's explained that this book goes through how to cope with losing what you had, because Aiden is really upset that he fell asleep for so long, but Rin kind of helps him get back on his feet, and they form a relationship with one another, which I think is really cute. And Rin is Eric's nephew. He calls her their Sproutling, so I'm assuming that's the they-them version of a niece or a nephew. I'm pretty sure Rin is a girl. It just, she doesn't go by the pronouns she, her. She goes by the pronouns they, them. But, so yeah, it goes through their story and how they meet Aiden. And it was really good. I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed meeting Hexiel and Eric before they grew old. This is sort of telling their story when they were younger together. And it was really cute. I would say that I really like the sequel. I kind of missed like Greta and Minette, but I enjoyed getting more backstory on Eric and Hexiel, and I enjoyed meeting Rin and Aiden. I thought their relationship was really cute, and it's not really super much. This book isn't a lot about tea dragons, but it is loosely about tea dragons. I think Rin has their own tea dragon, but I'm not sure exactly which one they have. But yeah, so the second book was good. I gave the whole series 5 stars, really, because it's just really wholesome. And the third book is like the true sequel to the first book. So it goes through Greta and Minette and their budding friendship and relationship. And it goes through how Greta received her tea dragon named Ginseng from this person who passed away. She inherited it from someone. And Ginseng is really sad because tea dragons like imprint really hard on their owners, so that when they pass away they get very upset about it. So this book kind of tackles grief and how you kind of have to let someone process their grief in their own way. That's kind of what I got out of this book. And we're also learning more about Minette and learning about her backstory, because when we first meet her in the first book, she doesn't really remember who she is. She has like memory loss and scattered memories, so she doesn't really know who she is or where or what her past was like. So it was interesting getting to know Minette more. And I really enjoyed watching Greta and Ginseng grow together and really process grief together, because Greta tries to help Ginseng get past her or his, I think it's a girl, tries to get past her grief by feeding her her favorite foods, and she makes her this bowl in the end, and it's just really cute. And the illustrations are always beautiful, and Greta in the end gets an apprenticeship with this man right here. I can't remember what his name is, but he is the person who is looking for an apprentice, and he decides to let Greta be his apprentice, and that's kind of where the book ends. And I don't think there's going to be a fourth book, but if there is, I would totally be open to reading it, because I really love this book series and I never want it to end. But it was really good. There's great themes of tradition and family and personal growth, and there, like I said, there's themes of grief and like finding out who you are and processing what trauma you've been through. And I really enjoyed watching Minette grow and find out who she is through the memories of her tea dragon, because the special thing about tea dragons is their tea, it forms memories. So when you drink it, you can re-experience a memory. And that's how Minette kind of gets back to who she is and her memories and stuff, because of her tea dragon chamomile. And it's just really cute. I would totally recommend this book series. It is really sweet and it's very special and I love it. And I'm really happy that I own it, and I'm happy that I found it, and I'm happy that I finally got to read it after so many years. But yeah, so that was another cozy fantasy book series review for you all. So thank you for watching the video, thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, friends!